make sure. Okay, it started. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so you have an amazing teaching. So this Shabbos, is actually Chai Elul. Chai Elul is actually a Yantif. And we're going to see why, and we're going to learn all about Chai Elul today. Okay, so what happened on Chai Elul? Chai Elul is the birthday of the Baal Shem Tov and of the Alter Rebbe, the first Chabad Rebbe. And, you know, if you look in Chazal, we don't find birthdays, the fact that birthdays are so prevalent. We find that they are special on two occasions, but we don't find that it's a yantif, that it's a holiday. Where in Torah do we see birthdays? Okay, so we see it, first of all, with Yitzchak. Yitzchak was born on Aleph Nisan. And the Jewish people, when they built the tabernacle, the Mishkan, it was actually ready on Chaf Gimel Adar. And then they, every single day for 7 days, they built it and then they took it down. Built it, took it down, and only on the 8th day did they build it and it stayed up. And when was that? That was on Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Hashem said, so really the Mishkan was ready earlier. It was ready on Chaf Gimel Adar. But Hashem said, I want to combine two joys, the joy of the building of the Mishkan and the joy of Yitzchak's birthday, and therefore Hashem waited a few more days until the day of Yitzchak's birthday, that should be the day that the Mishkan should actually be established permanently. So from here we see, this is the first place we see in Torah that Yitzchak's birthday was a special day. Another place we see this is about Moshe Rabbeinu. We know that Haman, he made a decree against the Jews, and he drew lots. And which day did he choose? Which day did he choose to be the day that all the Jews will be killed? He chose Zayin Adar, because he said, "Oh, this is the day of Moshe's passing," but he didn't realize that this is also the day of Moshe's birth. And because it was Moshe's birthday, therefore it ended up that all the decree that Haman made ended up being canceled because of Moshe's birth. So we see that a birthday is a very special thing, but we don't find that it's a holiday, a yantif, until the time of the Rebbe Rashab, who was the 5th Chabad Rebbe, and his son, the Frierdiker Rebbe, the 6th Chabad Rebbe, revealed to us that on Chai Elul, his father, the Rebbe Rashab, said to him, Gut Yantif, that this birthday is not just a birthday, a special, a happy day, but rather it's a holiday, it's a Yantif. And we're going to see why that is. And we're also going to ask ourselves, what is the contribution of the Baal Shem Tov and of the Alter Rebbe to us as a Jewish nation, to us as the Jewish people. Before the Baal Shem Tov, there were plenty of holy Jews, learning Torah and doing mitzvahs. What is the great innovation of the Baal Shem Tov, of the Alter Rebbe, of Hasidus? And whatever that special innovation is, what the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe contributed to the Jewish people, it is all very, very much connected to the concept of a birthday. So it's not just that they were great people and they made great contributions, but rather their contributions are connected, very much related to the concept of birth. And why is that? Because we know that the galus, exile, is compared to the baby, the fetus in the womb, And Geula is the birth. And Chassidus prepares us for the coming of Mashiach. And therefore Chassidus, which is a taste of Mashiach, is compared to birth. And this is what the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe, this is their contribution. They revealed to us Chassidus, and then the Baal Shem Tov revealed Chassidus, Chassidic philosophy. The Alter Rebbe revealed Chassidus Chabad, and we're going to see the differences.
In other words, Chabad thing is Mashiach, that's the connection.
Okay, so the Alter Rebbe, we're going to see the difference between Chassidus and Chassidus Chabad. And both of them, both the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe, as a peer, working together, bring something incredible to the table, which we could learn from the concept of birth. Okay. So let's talk about birth. Why are we happy? Why are we joyous when there's a birthday? Really, birth is really a downgrade for the baby. Why is it a downgrade?
You're saying they're in the
Coming from the soul down here. Coming from the heavens here.
Yeah.
So there's the descent of the neshama down here. Okay, so spiritually, when the fetus is in the womb, it's learning Torah. There's a candle shining on it, and it's able to see from one end of the world to the other. So spiritually speaking, the neshama is the soul is having a great time. It's learning Torah, and it learns the entire Torah. And then right before the baby is born, a malach comes and taps it on the lip, and then it forgets everything that it learned. And then once the baby's down here, first they have to learn how to talk, and then they learn Torah Tziva. Then when they're 5, they start learning Chumash. When they're 10, they start learning Mishnah. When they're 40, then the wisdom really kicks in. So your whole life, you're trying to acquire some of what you learned in the womb of your mother. So spiritually, it's seemingly a downgrade. And also, physically, when the baby is in the womb, the baby is protected. The baby is fed. You don't have to worry if the baby's going to fall down the steps or going to get a scratch or anything like that. And also, even the effort that it takes to feed a baby, right? They shouldn't be colicky, and they have to burp, and that they're picky eaters, you know. So when the baby's in the womb, we don't have to worry. There's no picky, you know. The baby is fine. There's no colic in the stomach. Everything's good. The baby's getting all the nutrients that it needs. It gets its food. It gets its drink. Everything is wonderful in the womb. Once it comes out, now you have to start working hard to feed the baby, to take care of the baby, to make sure the baby's protected in the womb. Everything's good. I remember I was 7 months pregnant with Leah. She's 17 now, and I was in a car accident. The earbags came out, everything, and I just went to the doctor for a checkup. Thank God, everything was fine. She was protected. You know, the other kids in the back, everyone had scars from the seatbelts, but she was fine. Baruch Hashem. So in the womb, there's the baby is safe, and then when the baby is born, okay, now you have to work a lot harder to care for the baby. So seemingly it's a downgrade. So what's the big celebration? A mazel tov, a baby was born. What's the big simcha?
Because they have potential.
Okay. So we're gonna understand what the big simcha of the birth of a baby is through looking into halacha. In halacha, it says that, of course, we don't do abortion, but if the mother is pregnant and the baby is posing a threat to the mother's life, halacha says that you could take the life of the baby to save the mother. Only when the baby is in utero, only when it's a fetus. As soon as the baby's head comes out and the baby is breathing on its own, then it's considered a nefesh, and then you can't exchange the baby's life for the mother's life once the baby is breathing on its own. So, a nefesh, according to this in halacha, a nefesh is a living being. And what does it mean? A nefesh is when the body and the soul merge into one. That is called a nefesh. And that happens at the moment of birth. Before birth, the body, the fetus, is getting its life from the mother. The body and the soul are separate. It's like a person who's getting who's on a life-saving machine, is on oxygen, is getting energy from somewhere else, and that's not called a nefesh. You're not a human being until your body and soul become one, and then you're a nefesh, and that's what happens. And that's what happens at birth, when the body and the life-sustaining force becomes one. The guf and the chayis becomes one, and that is called a nefesh. So what is the great simcha? What is the great celebration of birth? That is that this baby now is independent of its mother. It's able to live and it's able to breathe on its own. That is the greatness of birth. We like to think that the baby is still attached, but the miracle of birth is that the baby's life force and the baby's body are one. And the baby does not need its mother to breathe anymore. Just to breathe. But for everything else, it needs its mother. Yeah. So I thought I was going to be so smart, and I'm going to send my baby to a babysitter. So it lasted 1 week, and on Friday I was told that the baby is not welcome because he's crying too much. The point is that I think I'm in control. Just be like any other baby, go to a babysitter, I can have my free time, and I accomplished tons. But once they're born, and they're breathing, and they're their own person, and this baby wants to be with his mommy, and that's it. I'm not making the decision, Yeah, exactly. As little as they are. Yeah, they're in control. Okay. Okay. So, there are two ways to serve Hashem. There's a way of serving Hashem like a fetus. And there's a way of serving Hashem like a baby that's already born. Serving Hashem like a fetus is what happened before the Baal Shem Tov. There were people, wonderful Jewish people, that served Hashem perfectly. They did all the Torah and they did all the mitzvahs. But it was me and the Torah and the mitzvahs. Two separate things. The body and then the life, which is Torah and mitzvahs. So the person could do Torah and mitzvahs, and then they could come home, sit on the couch and say, now it's time for me to relax. That's what it means, serving Hashem like a fetus. That your body is separate from your life force. You're connected, but you're dependent on something that's separate from you. The baby, the fetus, is dependent on its mother for its life. A fish is dependent on the water for it to live. So a Jew is dependent on Torah and mitzvahs in order to live. But there's the Jew, and there's a Torah and the mitzvahs. The life force is separate. You're connected to it, but it's separate. That's what it means. That's what it means to serve Hashem like a fetus. Comes the Baal Shem Tov, and the Baal Shem Tov says, he introduced a concept which is Ein Oid Milvadai. There is nothing other than God. There's not me and Hashem, me and Torah mitzvahs, but rather it's all one. Ani nivresi l'shamash eskaini. I am created to serve my Creator. If I am on this earth, it's not that Hashem created me and I'm a separate identity, but rather I'm here because Hashem needs me for His mission. I'm not a separate. Welcome. I'm not a separate being. So me and Torah and Hashem are all one. We learned this in Tanya, right? We learned that Hashem and His wisdom are one. Hashem's wisdom is Hashem's Torah. And Hashem and His will are one. What's Hashem's will? His mitzvahs. So Hashem and Torah and mitzvahs are one. And we, Yidden, are one with Hashem. It's not that a Jewish person is his own separate identity there's me, and I choose to learn Torah, or I choose to do a mitzvah. That's two separate things. So there's me what I do. Torah mitzvah is what I do, and then there's who I am. That's a separation. Who I am and what I do is a separation. There's me, and then I do Torah mitzvahs. That is a way of serving Hashem that's like a fetus, where the body and the soul are separate. The body is separate from its life force. Its life force is its mother. It's connected, but it's still separate. And the accomplishment of birth is that the body and soul merge into one, and there's no separation. It's not there's what I do and who I am, but rather, it's not what I do, but rather it's who I am. That Torah mitzvahs, that's who I am. It's not a separate thing from. It's not a
They don't get
separate
Jewish
thing
till
from me.
they're born. You're saying that guy is not Jewish, then that makes sense because they only get that when they're born. They don't have the extra, the nefesh, right? Isn't it something that like a Jew is a nefesh and there's a concept when the baby's born that's when they become a Jew as opposed to the fetus in the stomach is not considered a nefesh, something like that.
Okay, so I don't want to get confused because usually we use nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, chida. We say that nefesh is one of the 5 parts of the Jewish soul. Mm-hmm. But here in halachic terminology, even a non-Jew, when the non-Jew is born, when a non-Jew gives birth to a baby, the baby is still independent of its mother.
Right, so is it different? Do they get something different from Hashem because there's a guy who doesn't serve Hashem the same way, so they're different than a Jew at birth. So the birth is only a mashal. The birth is only a mashal, a parable that we're using. Mm-hmm. So birth, that the parable of birth, that's across the board. But obviously a Jew has a chelek mamish, which is, can't be compared. It's a whole different story. Yes, sir, you wanted to say something?
My question was, Avram Avinu was a Merkava. He was literally one.
Absolutely.
So how do we say that the Baal Shem Tov introduced it?
Okay, very good question. Okay, so obviously the Avos were a Merkava for Hashem and they were one with Hashem.
Did he reintroduce it?
Also, Avram was before Matan Torah. He was also before Matan Torah.
Right.
In general,
What was
the whole
mentioned
Torah-
and there were so many big people.
Well, I
Baal
think
Shem Tov introduced much for the general public.
Yes.
the concept.
Yes.
I think it got lost. Like you look at like the Jews in Malachim and Navi, they weren't one with Hashem. They didn't. So I think he's saying is that he made that you were able to serve Hashem this way. It used to be like a little bit enough. I always wondered, but they weren't. That was a confusion. Like they weren't able to separate. They were separated. They weren't able to do one.
Right.
Maybe you said about like he was able to take his concept and do it together. That's what I think.
So what happened before the Baal Shem Tov? What happened was there was very much like different classes. There were people those that were the scholars. They actually had their own shul, versus the wood choppers and the shoemakers. They had a different shul. They didn't even pray together. It was so divided. And the simple in quotes, the simple Jews, they were looked down upon. What did the Baal Shem Tov come introduce? He introduced that every single Jew is so amazing, is so incredible, and he took away that gap. And there are so many stories of the Baal Shem Tov. What was his chiddush? What did he do? He showed the value of the simple Jew, A simple Jew that only knows how to read and says Tehillim, he showed the scholars what the simple people are able to accomplish with their sincerity. And a person could be a very, very great scholar. It's me, and this is what I'm learning, and I'm so great. Look how much I learned. But the concept of being one with Hashem, that is what the Baal Shem Tov brought to the table. And if Jewish people are one with Hashem, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you do. It's who you are. And that's what he revealed. He revealed that spark. He revealed that faith in a general way. With his stories of tzaddikim, and the Jewish people were in a very, very down state. It was after Shabtai Tzvi. It was after the Kazakhs. It was the Jewish people were in a very, very, they were like fainting spiritually, physically, and the Baal Shem Tov came and he saved them. The example that's brought is the prince. There was a prince. It's a mashal that is brought for what did the Baal Shem Tov accomplish. And the prince was dying. He was very, very sick. And all the doctors came and they tried to cure the prince and no one could be successful. And one doctor came and he said, if you take the jewel crown, the jewel from the center of the king's crown, and you crush it, and you mix it with water, you make a medicine out of it, and you give it to the prince, maybe a few drops will go in, and maybe it will cure the prince. So the jewel, the center jewel in the king's crown, that is Chassidus. So for all the years, no, it was okay. The Jews served Hashem, and it was fine. But it came to a situation where the Jews, they were like so ill, and they almost lost hope. And that's why Hashem allowed that his most centered gem in his crown to be grinded up. And yes, some of it's going to fall on the floor, and some of it's going to get wasted. Not everyone's going to appreciate the Chassidus, but just to get a few drops into the prince's mouth to save his life. So this is what the Baal Shem Tov came. He literally came to when someone's fainting, to pour cold water to wake us up, to say, hold on, there's hope. You realize how special you are, and realize that you, no matter who you are, you have a connection. You have a connection with Hashem. You are one with Hashem. It's not something that you do. But it's something. This is your value.
He gave us women. He gave the women so much because we for sure weren't considered anything. We were for sure not Torah scholars. We were nothing.
It wasn't even now. Women didn't even go to shul.
Yeah. Today women are. Wow. He gave us so much.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was so he basically. He gave back life to the Jewish people. That was what the Baal Shem Tov did.
So what are we getting from the shul?
What is it?
Are we up to that again right now? Like we need something more.
No, we had there's tons of Chassidus available. We just have to come to the table. There's no lack of learn. We have so much. We have so much that we could learn, Baruch Hashem.
Waiting for a big prize.
We're waiting for Mashiach, absolutely. The Chassidus is preparation for Mashiach. Okay, so we have this concept of what does it mean, a body and soul being one. This concept of Einod Milvadei, which we just said, I just want to go back to it to give an example. This concept that there's nothing other than Hashem, and that the concept of birth. So example in halacha is as follows. We're not supposed to carry on Shabbos, right? There's a prohibition of carrying. But the prohibition of carrying, there's an amount. If it's a very, very, very small amount, I don't know exactly the amount, that's so insignificant, then it's not considered carrying. So, for example, if a person, a bottle of seltzer, if there's a very, very small amount of seltzer in the bottle, a person could take the bottle and carry it from one place to the other, and it's not considered a problem of carrying because the amount in the bottle is so little. So although, the bottle itself, if you were to carry the bottle itself, it's a problem. But to carry the bottle and your intention is the tiny bit of seltzer in it, then it's not a problem. So this is what it means, this is what it means. We are the plastic bottle. The body is the plastic bottle. When the body is so subservient to the little bit of seltzer in the bottle, it's so insignificant, right? That's what it means that the body and soul are not two separate things, but rather it's one entity. For example, if I want the water, I'm going to say pass the water. I don't say pass the plastic bottle, right? So when a body and what the Baal Shem Tov accomplished is that it shouldn't be a plastic bottle, a goof, and water or seltzer, but rather it should be past the water, that the body and the soul are one. This is the independence of birth. This is what the Baal Shem Tov accomplished, that it's not that you have to do something, you have to be a great Torah scholar in order to be connected with Hashem, but rather, just by being a Jew, you are one and connected. You're already connected. And you're a gem, and the most you have to do is blow off a little bit of dust. But every single Jew, revealed that every single Jew is a gem, is Hashem's child, is the most precious thing, and not to look down upon Jews that aren't as scholarly as you, but rather every single Jew is so precious, for Hashem. Yeah.
You're not really, there's a lot going on here. So one thing that I want to take away, are you saying since the Baal Shem Tov made this clear, the body and soul is one, it gave us more of an energy, like life force for us? I'm missing something versus in the past. So let's say pre-10 purposes, I don't have to know what the past is saying. But I'm focusing
Past is.
I don't want to concentrate on past. I want to concentrate on
Okay,
what you're saying.
so what I'm saying is that what the Baal Shem Tov accomplished, that being a Jew is not something that I have to do, but it's who I am.
You're saying it's my essence. It's my whole being as a Jew.
Yeah.
Okay, and
We're
now
our
what?
value.
We're
Now we know our value.
Right.
this is the piece. This is what.
That's the Baal Shem Tov's piece. The Baal Shem Tov's piece,
Make it true. We just revealed it.
he revealed. He
I think
revealed.
it was there but got lost.
Right. So before then, if you're a Torah scholar, I'll respect you. If you're not a Torah scholar, then you're a nobody. Who are you? You can't even.
Why isn't it like this today? What are you saying?
It's like this.
This
It's
is
like
like
this.
this.
It's like this. We have the opportunity not to make it like this. It wasn't acceptable like that.
Come on, it is like this
I
today.
see this
Oh, you
is
okay?
not-
Then look a certain way.
Right, yeah.
You can fit into that. Cool.
You? That's why I don't like this.
You go there.
Is lacking.
I think it's individualized.
I'm
It's
just
not, it's
saying,
different,
so
I don't think it's her.
No, or maybe,
I did not hear that.
maybe we worked into it first, maybe at that time.
I think it's individualized. It's not like a statement. It's like,
Brought people
I
together.
can't say it's one person. Some people have, some people don't. I don't think it's fair to say that we're all like that.
We're working on it. We're working on it. That we.
But every community, every individualized. Some people have, it's not one person. But it looks, I can't say this.
But if you go on a system,
Now we have bad voices.
Everybody.
The more Hasidus you learn, the more you realize the value of every Jew, and it's not, and how much you can't judge them because you have no idea where their neshama is coming from. Parak Beis Tanya, which we'll continue tomorrow. So the more Hasidus you learn, the more you value another Jew, and the more you see them for who they are, that they're an actual piece of God, and you don't judge them just by the outside.
Well, Chassidus could be the Maral, all that type of Kabbalistic stuff. If you learning from the Maral.
Okay, so what is let's
We're
define
not
it.
going just with Misnagdim. It's more going from bringing the soul and the Kabbalistic into this Chassidus, into life. So like I'm saying, I think they're getting confused. I'm not saying it's also that whole concept of bringing more than just the shot, like it's more going deeper.
Excellent.
And bringing that into
The point of Hasidus, and we're gonna learn this more. We're gonna learn this more when we speak about the Alter Rebbe. What is it? Hasidus is revealing God in every single thing.
So it's the study of revealing God in every single
Yes.
which is also Kabbalistic.
The Kabbalah, Hasidus comes from Kabbalah.
He also brings it in, like
To stop looking at the world with your physical eyes and to realize that there's more, to find godliness, to find Hashem within you and within every single Jew and within every single thing. It's looking at this world from how Hashem views the world. Instead of looking at it from how a human perspective, looking at the world from a godly perspective, looking at it from God's eyes, from God's perspective. We're human at the end of the day, but
Ikrim are all based on this.
right, so that's why we're born in this world. We see nature, we see a tree, we see everything that's going on around us, and that is galus. Galus means that we're living in a basement with no windows, and the lights are off. That's this world.
Because we're in this galus piece, right? And we're in the basement, we can't see, right? And then we sit there, Mashiach. So that's the ultimate. So what's this in between, right? We're in the basement. How do we get to the first floor?
This is really
Right.
So what you need to do is you need to turn on the light.
Okay.
You need a flashlight.
Metaphorically speaking, as humans in this world today,
Hasidus is the light that reveals the truth that was hidden before.
So by studying,
learning the study of Torah.
Yes, so it's not. It's the same Torah.
Yeah, of course.
It's just looking at it. Looking at it, the deeper dimension of Torah, the deeper dimension of Torah, and the deeper dimension of everything.
You know, till now, when I learned Kabunas in the Chemish, I was like, oh, very nice. Wasn't the Bible like this? How does it apply? Doesn't even apply to me.
Can you
It's not
explain?
interesting.
Sorry, what is Kabunas? Can you explain?
Kabunas to me is sacrificing from myself, bringing myself as a sacrifice for Hashem, connecting myself to Hashem. It's not just about bringing an animal and vice. Yes, I'm looking forward to that when Mashiach comes. But right now, how does it apply to me? Hasidus teaches me how. It takes everything that we learn and it tells you how it applies to you, and it brings out a much deeper side of you.
So it's coming from the chesed aspect. I'm assuming that's why it's saying.
Could you be a specific example? I think we're getting.
I never thought of it that way, but that definitely does make sense.
So we're not coming from, we're not coming from the pure halacha of why we do korbanos or anything as women, right? I mean, Hasidus is not just for women; it's for men too. But it would make sense that we're coming with some sort of chesed aspect as opposed to.
Yeah. So what is Hasidus? Hasidus is going beyond the letter of the law, right? That's what it means to be a chassid. The definition of a chassid is someone who's not just going to follow dry halacha. This is what I must do, and this is what I'm going to do, like a robot. A chassid who studies Hasidus is someone who goes beyond the letter of the law. Why? Because they have such an enthusiasm to be connected to Hashem that every opportunity to connect and to be one with Hashem and to feel that oneness is an opportunity that they want to take. That's what a chassid means. A chassid is beyond someone who goes beyond the letter of the law. That's what it means. But this whole the Hasidus is it's revealing. It's revealing. You see, you're in the dark basement. There's tons of furniture all around. The furniture is there. The table is there. The chair is there. All the objects are there, but you can't see it. You can't see it until you turn on the light. Oh, this is a table. Until now, you're walking around and feeling things. You had no idea what anything is. We walk around this world. We see there's so much darkness, and there's so many things that we don't understand. And Hasidus allows us to not get stuck to not get stuck, but rather to turn on the light and to find purpose in everything, to find meaning in everything, and to realize that Einoid Milvade, that there's nothing other than God, and that every single experience and that everything that happens is all in order to fulfill my mission, in order to make this world a better place. It's literally turning the light on.
It's just sort of a catch-22 though, because if a person does not really have a sense of what God is, right, which many of us struggle with, we're supposed to be studying how to be godly or the secrets of the Torah, but you also have to have some sort of taste of what God is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the beauty of
That's why we keep coming. I think if you end up coming, if you keep on reviewing the same thing, or I don't want to say keep coming back, but if you
keep
do
coming
it,
back.
keep coming back. If you keep on coming, because look, the Torah has its basis, and then as we keep on coming back, we're reminded on what our outlook should be and how we should accept certain things and what the mitzvahs are, what Hashem is, if it's in the Parsha, if it's in Tanya, if it's in any kind of thing. So that's where you keep on being reminded, and eventually you pick it up.
Or even just educate on a deeper level. We all
because
understood it this way, and then
we think about the scale that we came home with, the mitzvahs are yours, I don't know.
I think it's very simplistic.
But it's so much deeper. So I
Once
feel like it's almost like a child view and a mature adult view. So, like we learn it very basic, and then Hasidus goes deeper, helps you understand.
Takes you on a trip.
Even on definition.
It's awareness, more of awareness. A lot of
We learned about a tzaddik and a rasha. Hasidus has a totally different definition of a tzaddik and a rasha, and a binoni. It's just, it's.
And that's why we come together every week, and now we get Hashem twice a week, and
every other week.
Thanks, Aliva.
Yes.
It's.
You can't get it up. There's always a
What's
deeper
funny is
understanding.
that now sometimes I learn something and I'll be like, yeah, so who doesn't know that? And I forget that I only know it because I come to these classes. It becomes so part of me, and I'm thinking,
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
It's awareness and keep coming back and
But-
learning, reviewing and learning more and more. So.
But even ourselves, right? Throughout our life, we get to know ourselves more and more because of the experiences that we have in our life. So sometimes there are things that happen to us, and we react in a certain way, and then we look back at it, and we just had a learning experience. Our whole life we're getting to understand ourselves. So just like we have to look ourselves, we have to look at ourselves spiritually in the mirror, and we have to work on ourselves and understand ourselves, and we have feelings. And why does this trigger me so much? And why does that trigger me so much? Our whole life we're working on becoming better people, and in order to that takes an inner work.
Also, you reach a certain age where things just don't trigger you.
I can't wait.
I think then other things come up instead. Yeah. You may have graduated from certain, but then other.
Agreed. Yes. Yeah. Totally. No, things that trigger you in your 20s do nothing.
Yes,
to
okay.
you.
You work through things, so other things are not.
Yeah.
I think the more self-awareness you have, doesn't matter where you are. It's just a process of more self-awareness. Like you're saying,
So just like we have,
it's different things, but it's more in self-awareness. And you take that into account. You get a 27-year-old is more self-aware than a 60-year-old. That's not an age thing. It's more self-aware.
So I'm aware that
Yes, the things that trigger will be different, but the content of life is different.
yeah.
But it's
So I'm saying,
someone
just
that's
like we
more
have to do inner work, and we have to be,
That's all
we have to look deeper and understand ourselves, and so just like we have to figure ourselves out and look deeper, not just stay on the surface. The same thing is with everything on this universe. That there's a deeper layer that we have to that we have to look at everything. We have to look at everything and say, why did this happen? What lesson can I learn from this? How can I become a better person from this? Why did this happen? It's not just, we live in this world, things happen, that's a robot. And then I'll wake up in the morning and start again. No, but to be able to look at everything that happens and to try to look deeper and to try to take a lesson and try to improve and try to ask, what does Hashem want from me? And how can I learn from this experience? How can I become a better person from this experience? We're always trying to look deeper. And the same is with everything on this earth. And that's what Chassidus helps us do. It helps us look beneath the surface. Whether it be ourselves, whether it be our family, whether it be another Jew, whether it be anything that happens to us, to be able to find Hashem, to find purpose, to look deeper. But thank you for asking that question so clearly. So to define, what is Chassidus already, We're so busy talking about it now, just, get to the... Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you for making us think. Okay, so what did the Baal Shem Tov do? The Baal Shem Tov gave us life. The Baal Shem Tov gave us the opportunity to be born. That it's not anymore that there's me and there's Torah mitzvahs that I have to do in order to be connected, but rather he gave us the opportunity to be born, which means that we come to the realization that my body and soul is one with Hashem, that my life force and my body are one. I'm independent. On one hand, I'm independent of my mother, right? So now what happens at birth? At birth, body and soul are one. And my connection to Hashem is not something outside of me, but rather it's within me and it is my essence. That makes it a constant. Absolutely. That Torah and mitzvahs and Hashem is not outside of me. It's not that there's a separation between me and Hashem, between me and my Torah and mitzvahs, but rather that my life force and my body are merged. Just like when you bake a cake, right? You can put in flour, sugar, eggs, oil, everything's mixed together in the mixer. Now I say, take out the egg. It's not happening. That's it. It's one. Right? So we're truly one with Hashem. We're not separate from Hashem. This is what Chassidus accomplished. That we're truly one with Hashem. It's not like, okay, I'm going to go to shul, I'm going to go to the class, I'll do something for Hashem, and then I'm going to go home. I'm a separate entity, separate being. There's me and there's Hashem. But rather what Chassidus teaches you is that the infinity that you have within you, the power that you have within you, and that you're not separate from Hashem. So therefore, how many times we say, I don't have time to daven. I don't have time, or I'll daven later. It's not. I have to do X, Y, and Z before then. But when you start thinking about this concept that you're one with Hashem, then Torah, mitzvahs, and davening, that comes first. Everything else is what?
Me too is also. That's the thing. It's prioritizing the house first or davening first, but it's all Hashem.
There's a story that I
Closer to Hashem than cleaning up your kitchen.
Take care of your kids.
Taking care of your kids is different, but cleaning up your kitchen.
Yeah, it's also, you're running a
It's
Hashem.
the
same kind of action.
Making it easier for
It's all about Shabbos. I pray every day when I clean up, I'll tell you that.
What did you say?
I pray every day when I clean up.
You pray that one day someone else
Yeah.
will.
Exactly.
Our homes are our own base of meditation. What are they calling God? So
Yeah.
any work that is not even cleaning the floors, even washing the dishes, anything that the Kohen did in the base of meditation is seen as holy. Same with our homes.
We have to approach that.
yeah. But if we have that mindfulness, then everything that we do is holy. You get the same action of sweeping the floor. One person is mindful and one person is just doing it and is frustrated that they have to do it. And why didn't the cleaning lady show up? Or, 100%. 100%.
Well, they always say being a mother is like, it's a hard job and everyone should get credit for it, So even the mothers sometimes don't respect themselves that they're the mothers and this is a serious job.
Right, but I think that also has to do with society,
Very
how
good
we
point.
look down at people who are.
It's like the famous thing that they say that mothers should be home Yom Kippur with their children. You know that letter that goes
Yeah.
around?
You're being home.
That famous letter?
It's not, we don't, as a society, we don't look up to that, but really that's our essence, that's what we're supposed to be, that's what we should find.
But if you read Rishon Pinchas, it talks about this. Every Rishon Pinchas about our job as a woman. Everything we do is Kedusha.
Essence. Suppose is X, Y, and Z. I need to go out of work because I need money for X.
Exactly,
Suppose.
that's 100% two different things, but I'm
Yes.
saying it's looked down upon, it's become.
As a homemaker, it's looked down upon, to be a homemaker.
It's to be a homemaker,
Yes, in our
to
little
do stuff,
circle.
to wash
Right.
the floors.
Correct.
It's looked down as lowly, and to watch your children is
Yes.
all looked down as
Because
low.
society in the sixties, they wanted to break the essence of our family. They wanted to stop families. They didn't want children to be born. That's where abortion comes in.
A feminist
They
movement.
wanted to be married, so that's where gay marriage came in.
It's a feminist movement that came in.
It's because they want to stop
Yeah.
the family of
Yeah.
our home. They don't want it to continue. They want to control us.
That tells you how.
Right.
Scares them.
It's a little movement, and these movements came about because people want power.
Yeah.
They want to stop the way, the natural order of how Hashem created the world.
So true.
And they're against Hashem, and that's why they're doing all these things, because they want to do it their way and assume power. But our way is we're with Hashem, and having a home, having
I guess
children.
when gets my counters.
Okay, I just want.
No one's kids are home, no one's touching my counter.
It's true. If
Stop
you're
here
going
and
out
wipe the
to
counter.
sweep your
Let's
steps,
hurry up and wipe the counter so we can done.
there's a lot of that. Yeah. You're making decisions, you're not working, we pivoted.
Your 1-year-old daughter.
And how are you? Okay, so, yeah, what's your career first? That's your space right now.
Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so until now we said, what did the Baal Shem Tov accomplish? The Baal Shem Tov accomplished that my body and soul, that it's one thing, one entity. So, for example, if you have a vacuum cleaner or a dishwasher or any other appliance, there are great appliances that could clean your floor or, these kind of things. So what do you have? You have a piece of plastic, a metal combination of plastic and metal. It's a daimon, it's an inanimate object. Then you plug it in, right? Electricity goes through it, and then when you're done, right, this object still stays inanimate. So that's what it means when you have a body, when you have this object. And then they have energy that's going to go through it and accomplish whatever you need to accomplish. But that is not true life. A vacuum cleaner that is not alive. Okay, it's performing a great service for you, but it's not alive, right? And it's not one. The life force and the object are not one. Versus a person. If I'm talking to you, right, and after I finish the conversation, if you say to me, what part of the body were you looking at? Were you looking at their nose? Were you looking at their eyes? Were you looking at their hair? You weren't looking at a specific part of their physical body. You were talking to them. You were talking to their essence. So a Jewish person or a person, once they're alive, there's no separation between their body and their life force. It becomes one. That's what the Baal Shem Tov introduced this concept of birth, that your body and soul are one. We're one with Hashem. Hashem is not a separate outside thing that I have to plug into, but rather we're intrinsically connected and one with Hashem. That was the Baal Shem Tov. That was amazing. Then comes, we said on Chai Elul, there were 2 luminaries that were born, and they worked together hand in hand. What did the Alter Rebbe, the first Chabad Rebbe, Hasidus Chabad, what did that accomplish? That not just, okay, we're alive, but rather there's another aspect of birth which the Alter Rebbe's work personifies, and that is like this. When the fetus is inside the womb, right, it has all of its limbs. It has hands, it has feet, it has lungs, it has eyes, ears, nose, mouth, everything, right? But the limbs are not functioning. And it says that if, we have a sonogram today, but if you look at a baby, the fetus in the womb, how is it? It says that it's like a folded letter. The baby's head is between its knees. So the head is not thinking, and the eyes are not seeing, and the lungs are not working. Well, only at the moment of birth does the baby start breathing on its own and seeing the world and hearing everything. All this happens that each limb begins to function. That's what happens at the moment of birth, and that is what the Alter Rebbe accomplished. Not just you're alive, but rather that we should be able to find the Creator in every single creation, in every single detail. The energy, the life force that's inside of my brain is different than the life force that's inside my toenail or a strand of hair. Now the energy has to match and the energy has to be tailor-made to every single limb, every single part of my body in order for it to function properly. This is the chiddush of the Alter Rebbe. That not just at the moment of birth, but rather that there should be the individual life force within each limb to get it to function properly. That is what the Alter Rebbe contributed. Now, what should we do?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I'm thinking all our 360 pieces inside our body, every single piece has a different life force?
It has to.
I'm fascinated. I'm just
Yeah.
putting it in.
Yeah. The eye doesn't work the same way the ear works.
Yeah.
Every single part of our body needs a certain chayis in order for it to perform its function.
You took it on a higher level. I'm fascinated.
The Alter Rebbe took it into a higher level. So what the Baal Shem Tov gave us is a chayis klali, a general life force. The concept, amuna, faith in Hashem. But sometimes the faith could stay aloof. For example, you could have a thief. He's going to steal from somebody, and he's praying to God, make me successful when I steal, that I shouldn't get caught. Right? So he believes in Hashem. But he didn't internalize it. It didn't become part of him. So sometimes you have great inspiration. The great inspiration, that is the highest klali, the angels in the sky, you get all excited. That is the Baal Shem Tov. Now take it and internalize it and make it personal to you. That is the contribution of the Alter Rebbe.
I just want to say that the baby, Taka doesn't think, but he feels. So, do our emotions come down before we're born?
So, the emotions,
Isn't that the neshama? Because the neshama feels
No,
isn't that?
if a mother is stressed out, the baby in the womb feels that stress and it shows up after they're born. You go, I had a stressful pregnancy. Even worrying.
No, but
If a
if
mother
the baby
worries.
physically feels the stress, so its heartbeat changes, everything changes. So
Okay,
then
I
eventually
know
you'll
what you're
have an
saying.
emotional component down the line. I mean, scientifically, I don't know what actually happens there exactly.
Yeah.
But you said nefesh was the liver. The liver is like the emotion.
okay, so we have to separate the nefesh which is in Tanya, and the nefesh as in we're speaking in halacha. Okay, but what the Alter Rebbe did is that it shouldn't just be belief in God, but rather to take this amuna and to use my intellect. Use my intellect. That's Chabad. Chachma bina das. That is the entrance into my person. What makes me me and what makes you you is, where does that begin? In Chachma, Bina, Das. Those are we have 10 powers. The first 3 is Chachma, Bina, Das, and that is when I begin. That's the doorway. That's the entranceway for me to take this, the great inspiration and start making it personal and start integrating it into my life. And it starts with Chachma, Bina, Das. I have to utilize my intellect to understand Hashem and realize that the only reason why I have intellect in the first place is in order to understand Hashem. And then from the Chacham Bin Das, then it goes down into my emotions. Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yisod, Malchus. And what do I have to do? I start realizing that I have the capacity to love and I have the capacity to fear. And what do? I love Hashem and I fear Hashem. And the only reason why I have the capacity to love and fear in the first place is all to use to serve, to love and fear Hashem. That's why the Baal Shem Tov gave us life, and the Alter Rebbe gave us the ability that every single part of our body should function and utilize its power to serve Hashem. And together they transformed the Jewish world from a place of pregnancy and allowed us to be born and to breathe on our own. Okay.
That's really Chabad's way is to breathe on our own, because you had other, I would say, Hasidus, which I don't know how much they learn Hasidus at all, but their motto is look at the Rebbe and follow the Rebbe. So you're breathing through him.
Lubavitch is doing the same?
No, because we're yes, also that. But also as well to breathe on our own.
Yeah. There are other Hasidisin that they rely on the Rebbe.
Right.
They rely on the Rebbe. But Hasidus Chabad demands that you have to do your own work. That independent. Now, this whole concept, everything that we spoke about, this mashal of pregnancy and birth, we see this in a Torah. Everything that our Rabbeim taught us, we see it. It comes out in in their Torah, in their teachings. So there's actually a teaching. There's a teaching of the Baal Shem Tov that 132 years after he passed away, the Rebbe Rashab, the 5th Chabad Rebbe, went up to heaven, whatever that means, and he heard 7 teachings of the Baal Shem Tov on this week's Parshas Kisavai, and it was Elul, Parshas Kisavai, and he heard these 7 teachings from the Baal Shem Tov 132 years after he passed away, and he came down and he shared these teachings with us. And one of these teachings fits perfectly with everything that we said. And you could look at it on the chart. You could look at it on the chart that was posted on the chat.
You know what year
There's
it was? Like this, around what time frame?
Tafresh
What year? Like
days.
it went up.
Okay, I'll find out. I have to find out the English date. I only have the Hebrew date written down. Excellent question. Okay. So if you... Okay, so let me just go to... Yes. Okay, so if you look at there's a verse that speaks about Bikurim. What's Bikurim? When the Jewish people come to the land of Israel, right? And then they come to the land and then they have produce. They have to put the produce in a basket and bring it to the Beis HaMikdash. This is one of the gifts that the Jewish people would bring, right? So this verse, which is in Parshas Kisavai, in this verse, you see everything that we learned until now. You can all see it in the Torah of the Baal Shem Tov that the Rebbe Rashab heard and taught to his Hasidim. So what's the verse? Kisavai el haaretz. When you will come to the land. What does aretz mean? Aretz means land, but aretz also means ratzain, which means a will, and also aretz can mean ratz, to run. When a person is running, he's very enthusiastic. So kisavei la'aretz, when a person has enthusiasm and has a desire for Hashem. Why? Because they're one with Hashem, because they're born, they have the concept of birth, and they feel one with Hashem. Lashon merutza v'ratzain, lashon of enthusiasm and desire. Asher Hashem lekecha noisin lach, which God gave to you. So it's talking about coming into the land that God gave you. God gives us a gift. God gives us a gift, the fact that we are one with Hashem, the fact that Hashem gives us a chelek mamish, the fact that the life force is not something that we have to plug into, but rather it's who I am, not what I do. That is a gift from Hashem, and that is what the Baal Shem Tov accomplished. So, but that's not enough. It's not enough that we have a desire, that we're connected, that we're alive. It's not enough. V'yashavta ba. You have to settle in the land. When did Bikurim begin? It wasn't on day one. It was after all the Jewish people were settled in the land. V'yashavta ba. V'lakachta gaimar, and you have to take the first fruits. V'samta batena, and you have to put it in a basket. You have to take the inspiration. You have to take the life. You have to take the faith. And what do you have to do? You have to put it inside of a basket. You have to internalize it. Make it personal. Use it to develop, to change, to become a better person. Not just, it's inspiration and it's outside of me, but rather to internalize it. That's what it means. Put it into the basket. And putting in the basket is the contribution of the Alter Rebbe. The Baal Shem Tov is that we have that connection, that we have that desire for Hashem. The fact that we feel one with Hashem because we are one with Hashem. That's not something that I do, that's who I am. That's my essence. That is what the Baal Shem Tov accomplished. To put into the basket that every single limb of your body should be utilized for the service of Hashem. That is a chayis prati, the individual chayis in each limb. That is what the Alter Rebbe accomplished. And then the pasuk continues, and it says, "V'alachta la'makayim," and you should go to the place. And this is the concept of hashgacha pratis. When you go to a place, don't just think that you're choosing to go to a place, but wherever you are, wherever you go, you have to know that it's hashgacha pratis. Hashgacha pratis is also something that the Baal Shem Tov revealed, that the fact that a leaf falls from a tree, that it's hashgacha pratis, it doesn't happen by itself, but this concept of divine providence in every single thing, not that just Hashem created the world and is watching from far away, but rather there's divine providence in every single thing, that Hashem is constantly recreating the world at every single moment, and every single thing is divine providence. This is the Torah of the Baal Shem Tov. The Shakein Shmoi Sham. What's the purpose of going to see V'alachta la'makayim? It's after you have the Bikurim in your basket, then you have to go to the Beis HaMikdash. But that's the pasuk. But what's the deeper interpretation? V'alachta la'makayim, you should go wherever you go. Why are you going there? L'shakin shmai sham, to publicize the name of God. L'farsam alikus ba'olam, to publicize God in the world. So the Rebbe asks, what's the connection between the first part of the pasuk and the second part of the pasuk? The first part of the pasuk about being alive and internalizing and personalizing this godly energy into every single part of my body, my being. What does that have to do with going and publicizing the name of God? And for this, you have to go back to the mashal of the baby. There's one more aspect of the baby. So first we had the pregnancy. Then we had the birth. And not only is the baby born and generally alive, but rather not only at birth is the baby not its life force is not only is the life force not separate from him anymore, but rather the life force becomes one with the body. Like you say, pass me the seltzer, you don't ask to pass me the bottle, right? But that's the Baal Shem Tov, and the Alter Rebbe is that every single organ and limb begins to function, right? The third part is that once there's a baby, it actually has an effect on the world. When the baby was in the womb, it didn't keep anybody up at night, right? But all of a sudden, when the baby is born, the baby cries, the baby needs something. All of a sudden, the baby has an impact on the world. And the more they grow, the more they grow, the more of an impact they have in the world. And the same is the same with the same is with that this is the continuation of the pasuk. Yes, we're born, and yes, we're connected. We're connected to Hashem. We're one with Hashem, and that life force is not just something that's a concept, but rather we integrate it into our life, and we realize that every single part of our body is every single function that we have is in order to serve Hashem, and every single thing that's on this earth is in order to serve Hashem, and then all that is all about me. It's still all about me. But then what's the next step? The next step is that I have to be a beacon of light onto this world. I have to make just like the baby has an influence on the world, we have to influence the world. And that's why in Hasidus Chabad, going on Shlichus or going on Miftzayim is not just like an extracurricular thing that you do, when you have extra time, but rather that is, it's an intrinsic part of being a Chabad Chassid, because all of a sudden, when you have this view, which is that every single Jewish person is one with Hashem, and that is who they are, not something that they do. And every Jew is connected. And if they don't know that they're connected, your job is to turn on the light. Turn on the light for them. So if you see another Jew that needs a little bit of help, you automatically do it. It's the most natural thing for you to do because you have this vision. You see the true value of every single Jew, how every Jew is truly connected, and therefore, if they need you to blow away the dust, then you're going to do that for them because you're seeing the deepest truth.
You're talking about yourself. That she's talking about herself.
This is
right. So I would say the opposite. If let's say, how do you get movement to actually make a movement? If you're kind of stuck, if you do an action like that, your mitzvah, you go to someone that doesn't have someone at a wedding, and you're like, oh my goodness, she's this, that, the other, or I'm not going, I'm not in the mood. That action goes exactly
100%, because there's another type.
That's what I love about you.
Yes, there were 7 Torahs of the Baal Shem Tov. The second teaching of the Baal Shem Tov, which was also had to do with this pasuk, was saying that how do I even begin this whole process? How do I even begin this whole process of recognizing my connection to Hashem, my oneness with Hashem? It's through action. It's through being a beacon of light. That's how the whole process starts. But that's actually another Torah of the Baal Shem Tov. But I'll just give an example. Last week, my daughter, my 12-year-old daughter, she's getting to pajamas. She comes sobbing. What's the matter? I had given her a coin necklace for her bas mitzvah, a coin that I had received from the Rebbe, and I made it into a necklace for her. And we gave it to her at her bas mitzvah, and she says, "Mommy, it's gone." She was sobbing. She was so upset, and I knew that in the morning I saw her putting it on, so I knew that she had put it on that morning, and it's gone. So I went to the van. I'm looking in the van. And she's like so upset. I said, no, it's a necklace, and then there's it's like diamonds all around, and the coin is inside, and the whole necklace she lost the whole necklace, and she was very, very upset. So for that, she said, "Don't worry, we'll get another one." She says, "No," she said, "That coin it made me feel connected. It made me feel connected. How could it be that it's gone?" And I want that coin. And it's like, I need that coin. That's one that I got my bas mitzvah. No other coin is good enough. And she was very, very upset. And so I said, okay, maybe it's in school. So right away I contacted the director of the school. She said, "We'll look for it." They asked the janitor, and they all the teachers knew, and all the kids knew, and she made a sign, $50 reward for whoever could find my necklace. And all the kids know that they're in their playground, when they're playing in the playground in the mulch, they're looking for Menucha's necklace, whatever. And and she wrote a letter to the Rebbe, please help me find my necklace, whatever. She's like, I didn't know what to do. Anyway, Friday night, somehow, I have no clue how, my son Shmuel Isaac, we still didn't find the chain, but the coin part, which is the most important part, it's on the floor near the door. And I don't know where it came from, because we swept and mopped that floor. The cleaning lady, we told the cleaning lady, I don't know. It like literally fell from the sky. Shmuel Isaac found it. He wants his $50. But anyway, so she found it. Now she feels like, oh my gosh, I made the whole school look for this necklace, and really it was in my house the whole time. So yesterday, she baked cookies for the whole school to give them cookies today, because she was a thank you for looking for the necklace. So what does this mean? And because I was stuck in traffic, and because I drive out of my driveway and detour, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm late already. How much later am I going to be? But just being in the car for the extra 5 minutes helped me process this, because that's what it means hashgacha pratis. That something as significant or insignificant as losing a necklace, all of a sudden there's a lesson to learn from it. So what's the lesson? The lesson is that it has to not just, okay, it's my necklace and I lost it and I found it, great, but rather the impact that it has to have on everybody else.
That's true.
Right? So that's the third step of birth. It's not just about me, my life, my limbs, me doing my avodah, of integrating, doing my work, of realizing that every single part of my body I have to utilize for Hashem, but rather, what impact does it have on the whole world? That whether when she lost it or when she found it, that everyone should benefit with the double chocolate chip cookie, whatever she made.
Also benefited by being ba'achdos and caring and wanting to find her necklace. And
Yeah.
like a big source for all those girls.
Yeah.
That they probably needed that source. And Hashem gave it to them by her losing her necklace. So that could have been one of the reasons that she...
Absolutely. So that's what it means. That's what it means. Hashgacha pratis and the Torah of the Baal Shem Tov, that anything that happens, that's what Chassidus gave us. That when something happens that you look deeper and you say, what is the deeper significance? How can I learn from this? How can I become better from this? What can I, that's what Chassidus teaches us, to look beyond what my physical eyes see, and to look at it from Hashem's perspective.
Are you saying Hasidus or Hasidus Chabad has given us that, or both?
So, Hasidus in general. So, there's 3 steps to the concept of birth. There's to actually be alive, the fact that all my organs can function, and then the fact that it has an impact on the whole world. Right? So these 3 steps, if you want to say it, okay, this doesn't say in the teaching, but if you want the concept of birth to be alive, that the Jewish people should be alive, that they should feel connected to Hashem, because they were in such a desperate situation. They felt so hopeless. There was a false Messiah. They all thought Mashiach was coming, and then they were so broken. Just to give us that initial life, that initial connection, that's what the Baal Shem Tov gave us. He woke us up from the slumber. Then comes the Alter Rebbe, and to take this life force, and to that every single part of us, every fiber of my being, that I should use for Hashem, and that every single thing. See, there are some people that say, comes to technology, comes to, stay away from this, stay away from the internet, stay away from this. But the Chabad philosophy is that every single thing, every single fiber of my being, and every single object on this earth is here for a godly purpose, that you have to uncover it. That instead of, some things you have to stay away from. You can't have pig, and, there's some things that can't be elevated. But the majority of things, to take it and to utilize it, because there's no such thing as a creation that's here for no purpose. That every single thing, to find the Creator in every single creation. That is what the Alter Rebbe taught us. And the third part is to affect the entire world. That is the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe and our Rebbe, which is not just to be a good Jew and to serve Hashem, but rather the Rebbe's contribution. The Rebbe's contribution is, and the Frierdiker Rebbe was the one who started sending shluchim different places. The contribution of the Frierdiker Rebbe and the Rebbe was to impact the entire world. That there shouldn't be even one Jew, every Jew is connected, but that every single Jew should feel that connection and to know that they're one with Hashem. That was the Rebbe's contribution. The concept of shlichus, to be a light unto the world, to turn on the light for every single Jew.
I think he meant even more than just every single Jew. It was more even for non-Jews.
Yes. To teach the world, Ein Od Milvado, that there's nothing other than God. That we should be a light unto the nations. Absolutely. To prepare the world for Mashiach, when all the things that are hidden will be revealed, and when when we'll see the world for what it really is. That it's Hashem's garden. It's going to.
This lady sitting next to me, and we started talking about the ways the world, what's going on now. I follow this Rabbi Kessin, and he talks about the Asa was with Trump, and Trump is with Asa is with Trump, and that it's Trump, and that's why Hashem is saving him, and no matter what he goes through, Hashem is still going to save him, and he's going to serve. They say Asa will serve Yaakov, the elder will serve the younger. So I was explaining to her, she was so inspired. The Goyim are like living through all these tragedies that are happening, and they have nothing to hold them. We have Hashem that holds us. We have all the knowledge that we have. It's holding us. We don't get anxious. We don't fall apart.
So
We
many
don't
Jews
get higher
that
rate.
are not
Are
educated,
right.
involved